Hello there, I'm teacher Pauline Garuya, currently teaching a school called Murai Primary, and all the way it's located somewhere in Nyandarua County, Nyandarua North Sub-County. So today I'll be taking you for maths, and we're going to have a very interesting substrand, and I hope you're going to enjoy. So in maths, we're going to look at the first or the most interesting topic, which is measurements. Yes, so our strand is going to be measurements. Right? And then our substrand is the most interesting one. Which is the circumference. Yes, the circumference of a circle. And now when you talk of the circumference of a circle, I know now you are aware of these things. So maybe just to state our lesson objectives is that by the end of the lesson, the learner, you should be able to identify different circular objects. Then the second objective is to work out the circumference of a circle. And the last one, you should show genuine interest as you calculate the circumference of a circle. And maybe I would like you to identify some of the circular objects maybe found in our homes, maybe in the different rooms, especially in the kitchen. And some of my circular objects, I'll name them in a while. But before that, there was a song that we used to sing when we were in school back then. And I know you still sing it at home or maybe during PE lessons. And the song goes like this. Make a circle, my friend, my friend. Make a circle, make a circle, my friend. Yes, and that is the circle. And then we could say a big circle like a sufuria. And now if we say, or if we come to cylindrical items, for example, we have a pan, and the pan is found in the kitchen, right? And also we have buckets. We have buckets, we use them for washing clothes, maybe rinsing our utensils or putting them in there. And also we have something else called a thermos. In the morning when we wake up, I know you rush to the dining table and took some tea, some milk, and it was from that thermos. So today with me, I have my teaching aid here. We're going to use this lid, yes. And then I have a string, okay. And then I have a ruler. Now, when you talk of measurements, a ruler is very essential when you're talking of measuring objects, their length. Maybe you want to go to the tailor and take some measurements. So the ruler is very essential. So today we are going to look at how to measure cylindrical objects or the circular objects. It's possible for us to measure them. And how do we do this? So take your string, like mine here, and then tie a knot at the end of the string, okay? Then place it on one side of your circular object and then tie it. For mine, I'm going to hold it. I'm going to hold it tight. And then after that, untie your string, right? And then use the ruler on the centimeter side and measure the length of your string. And so after measuring mine, mine is 21. Mine is 21. I don't know how about yours. So after measuring that, you record the measurement. So round your cylindrical item or your circular object. My measurement is 21 centimeters. And then take the same string, measure across your cylindrical item. Yeah, from the boundary, I think we don't have corners, right? Yes, from the boundary to the other boundary, across there, through the circle, and then you take your string, and then measure, place it on the sides of centimeters, and check out the measurement. And mine is 6, and record 6 centimeters. So, now when you come to maybe explaining what we've just done, in our topic or in our substance today, we have some vocabularies. One vocabulary is circumference. Yes, circumference. And when you're asked maybe to define that, because not only English where we have the vocabularies, also in mathematics we have vocabularies. So when you talk of circumference, circumference is basically the what? Whatever we've measured. It is the distance around the circular object. Are we together? The distance around the circular object or the cylindrical items. Okay? Then, so this one was our circumference. And now when you talk of another vocabulary, that is diameter. So when you talk of diameter, what is diameter? If you are asked to explain what is diameter. So diameter is, what will you say diameter is? Diameter is the distance across the circle through the center. The distance across the circle through the center. Very good. And so we have just measured our diameter, and we found that our diameter is what? Is 6 centimeters. Now we also have another vocabulary known as radius. Now when you talk of radius, it's that distance, but now from the center of the circle. So maybe here is my circle here. Sorry. Here is my circle, right? And then when you talk of the center, you must be very articulate. And then I'm going to put a point here just to show that that is my center. Then from there, draw a straight line from towards the boundary. My straight line can be towards here, so long as it's from the center. That is our radius, okay? Yeah. And now, as we continue, we are going to look how maybe we can calculate the circumference of a circle. Having that, we've known what is radius. This one is the radius. Then here is our diameter, right? And the initials for writing, maybe when you want to represent radius and you don't want to write it in full, you just indicate R, and diameter you just indicate D. Okay? Yeah, so having that, we now know what circumference means, what diameter means, and what radius means. We are now going direct to our formula. And when you're told to calculate the circumference of a circle, here is the formula. Circumference is equals to pi d. What is pi? Maybe when you talk of pi, someone may think of maybe a piece of pie, maybe pizza. You're not very wrong. But when you talk of pi, pi simply means 22 over 7. We can take our pi as 22 over 7. That is an improper fraction, or a mixed fraction as 3 whole 1 over 7. So, and of course, if you're calculating the circumference of a circle, you just can't use this one, the mixed fraction, simply because you have to convert it into improper fraction. So sometimes when you're brought a question and you're told to find the circumference and you're told take pi as 3 whole 1 over 7. I know you're a smart learner. What are you supposed to do? Convert it into improper fraction. The other pi that maybe you can use, it's 3.14. They are the constants and they are the same. So in our case, or maybe our level, we are going to just use 22 over 7, all right? And that is basically what we call pi. Are we together? And remember, the circumference, just getting the circumference, is the same as the circumference dividing by what? Diameter. That is where we derive our pi from, okay? So after measuring your circular object, try and take that circumference, divide by the diameter, and tell me whether you get something close to what my pi is. Then, when you talk of now diameter, we've said that is that line that runs across the circle, all right? So, pi 22 over 7 times maybe the diameter, all right? And then you get the circumference. Are we together? Now maybe as we continue, I want us to look at maybe an example, and then you're given a figure. Yes, you're given a figure, a circle here. Then you're told to calculate the circumference of the circle. And given that the diameter is 21 centimeters, 21 centimeters, what are you going to do? So the first thing, just as you're asked to go to, maybe you're in Nairobi or somewhere, and then you're told to go to Mombasa, from Nairobi to Mombasa, the first thing is to get the direction towards the place you desire to go, right? So the same case here, when you're told to get the circumference of a circle, ensure that you're conversant with the formula, all right? And our formula in this case is circumference is equals to pi d. Are we together? So our pi, we are going to use our pi as 22 over 7. 22 over 7. Then you multiply with the diameter, all right, which is 21 centimeters. So in our case here, and remember, these sums, circumferences, you have to be very smart in the multiplication table of 7. And for us to make it easier, it's easier for us to simplify. Are we together? The denominator and the numerator. Now, finding the common number that can simplify both the denominator and the numerator without a remainder. So in our case here, 7 cannot simplify 22, but 7 can simplify 21. So when you take 7 and divide by 7, 7 divided by 7 is 1. And then, which is that number? When you multiply by 7 gives you 21. And the number is 3, because 7 times 3 is 21. So by 7, 1, by 7, you write 3. And then we multiply 22 times 3, which is 66. It's very easy. You take 3 on your right, 3 times the first 2 here, it's 6. And the other 2 here, it's 6. So you write 66 centimeters. And that's how easy circumference of a circle is. Maybe to give another example, at times maybe you might be given radius. Yeah? You might be given radius and maybe a circle here. We've just said that radius can be from where? any boundary of the circle. It can be maybe here, so long as it's at the center of the circle. And of course, because I know you're a smart learner, radius is half the diameter. Radius is half the diameter. So in our case here, you're given the radius as 7 centimeters, and you're told to calculate the circumference. What are you going to do? The first thing is to write our formula, which is 22 circumference is equals to pi d. And of course, our pi, we're going to use 22 over 7, right? 22 over 7. And then times diameter. Now in our case, we have that radius. What are we going to do? Maybe you can take the radius times 2 is going to give us what? The diameter. Are we together? So our radius here is 7 times 2, which is 14 centimeters. All right? Now you come here and put your D as 14 centimeters. Again, multiplication. Yeah? So which number? Okay, we can see 7 can go into 14. How many times? Yes, 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. So 7 divided by 7 is 1. 7 divided by 14 is 2. So when you multiply 22 times 2, you get 44 centimeters. Yeah, and that is exactly it. But sometimes you might find maybe you're confusing. Sometimes I find my learners forgetting that one is radius and they use it as the diameter. Sometimes we have another option, maybe another formula. In case you're given radius, not diameter, you can take your circumference as 2 pi r. All right? How? Let's simplify, or let's work out that sum. 2 multiplied by, our pi is 22 over 7, right? So 22 over 7. Then you multiply our pi with what? The radius, which is 7 centimeters. 7 centimeters. Okay, which number? We have the denominator, which is 7, and then check out which number 7 can simplify without maybe a remainder. And of course, it's 7. So by 7, 1, by 7, 1. 22 times 2, or 2 times 22, you get 44 centimeters. And that is basically it, right? Okay, so depending on maybe which formula you like, you can use either and you will still get the circumference of the circle. Now, there's a table here maybe. Briefly, we can do it or check it out. I don't know whether I'm going to draw it or I can just write it. We have circle. We have circle A, and maybe circle A you're given what? The circumference here. Yes? And then you're told to fill in the circle. As we can see, in our circle here, we are told to fill in our table here, radius and diameter. So what are you going to do? Just as the teacher says that we use the known to get the unknown. So the first thing you're going to do, take your formula. Our formula is circumference is equals to pi d. All right? So in our sum, what do we have? We only have the circumference. So come where the circumference, replace it with 220 centimeters. So 220 centimeters is equals to, what is pi? We are going to use our pi as 22/7. Then maybe times diameter. We don't know the diameter, all right? So we are going to use a method called elimination method, all right? So numbers on their side and the letters on their side. Are we together? And the first thing that we do, we eliminate the denominator. And in our case here, the denominator is 7. And what are we going to do to eliminate the denominator? You multiply both sides by the denominator, whereby multiply here by 7 and the other side by 7, all right? So the denominator can be simplified by a number there in the numerator, which is 7, right? So by 7, 1, by 7, 1. Are we together? Then 22 times d, we are left with 22d is equals to 220 centimeters. We want the diameter. So what are we going to do? So the diameter is on our right side, so we're going to remove 22. And how are we going to do that? By division. So both sides, whatever you do to the right, do it to the left. Good. 22, right? Divide by 22. So what are we going to do? Simplify. So by 22, 1, by 22, 1. And then, of course, we have 220 and 22 here. So how are we going to simplify? You simply hide the 0 here. So you hide our 0. Let me come. So we're going to hide our 0 here. Hide it this way. And then we simplify, all right? So by 22, it's 1. By 22, 1. And then we have a 0 here. We add it on top, all right? And then, so on our right, we are left with what? Diameter. And on our left, we are left with what? 10 centimeters. So what are we going to do? So we're going to say diameter is equals to 10 centimeters. Is that okay? So in our table here, we are going to use or fill 10 centimeter as our what? Not 10 centimeters. It's 11 centimeters. Yeah, by 22, 1, by 22, 11. We sorry, 11 centimeters. And so, yeah, so it's always good to be very, very keen. And now when you simplify here, by 22, 1, 1, and then we have that 0, put it up there. Are we together? Yeah, so, and I think it's better when you're working out, make sure you have enough space to avoid confusion. So in our place here, diameter we are going to use or to write, our diameter is 110. Are we together? Yes. And then now we have the radius. Of course, and I said diameter is radius, or diameter is radius times 2. So what are we going to do? We take our diameter, which is 110, divide by 2, right? So again, we're going to hide our 0 and or assume there's no 0, take 11, all right? So by 22, or by 2, 1, 11 divided by 2. How many times will 11 go to, how many times will 2 go to 11? 5 times because of 10, right? Remainder 1. You write it just slightly, all right? So 10, how many times will 10 go to 2? 5 times. And so our radius is 55 centimeters. Are we together? Yeah. And then maybe maybe the last example here. And then I give you an exercise. You're given a what? Maybe you're given diameter, maybe, let's say it's 42 centimeters. And then you're told to calculate maybe to find the radius, to find the circumference. This one is very easy. Why? Because you have the diameter, and we said that diameter is simply radius times 2, all right? So we are going to take our diameter, and then you divide by 2, we get the what? The radius. So our diameter in our case is 42 divided by 2. That's okay. So by 2, 1 by 2, that is 2 by 2, 1, all right? So our radius is 21 centimeters. Then we have the circumference. Go back to our formula. We said that circumference is equivalent to or is equals to pi d. So we are going to take pi as 22 over 7. So 22 over 7, right, times diameter. Our diameter is 42, right? Yes, 42 centimeters. Again, back to multiplication. Which number, when you multiply by 7, gives you 42? That is 6 times 7. Very good. So by 7, 1 by 7, you write 6. And then multiplication. Maybe you can use a long way. 22 multiplied by 6, which is 6 times 2. It's 12. Carry 1. 6 times 2 is 12 plus 1, 132. So when you get 132, just come here, write 132 centimeters, and that is the answer. I know, because you're a smart learner, you just start multiplying on which side? Your right side. 6 times 2 is 12, carry 1, so you write 2 on the farthest end, and then 6 times 2 is 12 plus 1. You get the 10, which is 132. Good. Now, I'm going to give you two sums or more. Then you're going to do them, and maybe we look at them briefly. Yeah. So, yeah, so our first sum here, we have a circle, and its diameter is 7 centimeters. Then we have number 2. We have a radius of 63 centimeters. And then maybe to add one more or two, we have this one, whose diameter is 56 centimeters. And so in our sums, you're told to find the what? The circumference. Find the yeah, so you can calculate those sums very fast, and maybe we mark them and see whether you understood the lesson. Yeah, so I know we are done with the first one. Maybe let's look at it. So very fast, we start by writing the formula, all right? So pi, circumference is equal to pi d. So pi means 22 over 7 times our diameter, which is 7 centimeters. Very simple. Yes, can we simplify? The answer is yes. 7, how many times will it go to 7? Just once. So by 7, 1. By 7, 2. So 22 times 2, we get 44. Yeah, so and our answer here, or circumference here, is equals to 44 centimeters. And we have our number 2 here. Now you're done. As usual, we are writing our formula, which is pi d, to find circumference. But now we are given the radius, so you must be very keen not to use 63 as the what? As the diameter. So 22, okay, I'm going to use my pi, I'm going to use it this way, or yes, pi d. I'm not going to use 2 pi r, but if you want it that way, we can still use 2 pi r. So let me start by using pi d. Pi 22 over 7 multiplied by diameter. So we say that to get the diameter, you take radius and multiply it by 2. So in our case here, we have 63, and we want to multiply 63 by 2. So 63 times 2, we get 6. We start multiplying on your right? Yep, so you get 6, and then 6 times 2 is 12. Okay, so our diameter is going to be 126 centimeters. So having that as our radius, or as our diameter, what are we going to do? We simplify. Of course, to make it easier, yes, we can multiply the numerators and then maybe divide by the denominator, but to make it easier, it's better when we simplify before multiplying, all right? So how many times will 7 go to 126? So what we do, or what I find easy, you hide maybe the last digit, because you can't use 1, because 1 is less than 7, all right? So when you join these two, it becomes 12. So how many times will 7 go to 12? It will go 1 time, all right? Because of 7. You just write a small number 7, all right? Then you take 12, take away 7, you get 5. Are we together? Then take your 5, squeeze it next to 6. So you'll be having 56. Are we together? In the multiplication of 7, which number, when you multiply by 7, you get 56? And the answer is 8. Good. So by 7, 1. Okay, by 7, you get 8. And remember, here we had 1. So here, our answer is 18. After simplifying, then we multiply the numerators. By 22 times 18. So 2 times 8, that is 16. 6 carry 1. 8 times 2, it's what? 16 plus 1, 17. Okay. So we are done with number 8. You can cancel and put a 0 there to avoid confusion. Then 1 multiplied by 2. You get what? 2. You write it here. And then 1 multiplied by 2. You write 2. Just in front there. Then after you're done, we add the numbers. So we get 6. We get 7 plus 2 is 9. And then 3. So our answer here is 396 centimeters. So that is our what? That is our circumference. Are we together? Yeah. And maybe to use our pi as, or maybe to use 2 pi r, depending on what you find best. So you can take your, all right? So 2 multiplied by 22 over 7. Then we have our radius as 63. Multiply by 63. Tell me which one is easier. So you simplify. How many times will 7 go to 63? Yeah? Because I said it's easier to simplify rather than multiplying first and then dividing. Are we together? Yeah. So 7 will go how many times? Yes, 9. So by 7, 1. By 7, 9. And then we multiply, okay? So 2 times 22, it's 44, right? So you take 44 multiplied by 9. 44 times 9. 99 times 4, that is 36. 6 carry 3. 9 times 4, that is 36, plus 3, 39. And our answer is 396 centimeters. Just as we got using the first formula. So it depends with you, whichever formula you find it's easy, so long as you will not forget that when you're given a radius, you have to multiply it by 2. And then our last sum, we have 56 as our diameter, so we go to our formula, pi d, okay, 22/7 times the diameter, which is 56 centimeters. Good. So we can simplify, all right, because 7 can go how many times to 56? 8 times. So by 7, 1, by 7, 8. Then you take 22 times 8. 22 times 8. You multiply here, and you get 6 carry 1, 17. And our answer here is 176 centimeters. Are we together? And so in such case, we can't use 2 pi r to get circumference because we are given the diameter. And I hope you've understood our today's lesson. I'm going to leave you with some takeaway, and maybe next time I'll get your feedback. So, very fast, copy these sums, and maybe you will ask your mom, your dad, your guardian, auntie to help you mark. Yes, and maybe the last two. Yeah, so this is our takeaway, our extended activity. I hope you've enjoyed our lesson or the lesson today. Until next time, goodbye.